Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that somewhere in the universe, a tiny invisible bubble has appeared. It doesn't explode. It doesn't make a sound. It doesn't emit light. Yet if it touched Earth, everything you know would instantly cease to exist. Not just humanity. Not just our planet. Not just our galaxy. Everything. Every atom. Every star. Every black hole. Every law of physics. Gone. This sounds like science fiction. But according to some physicists, a bizarre process connected to black holes and quantum physics could theoretically trigger exactly such an event. An event so catastrophic that it could literally delete the universe. To understand this terrifying possibility, we first need to understand something called the vacuum of space. Most people think space is empty. But according to modern physics, empty space is not truly empty. Even in the emptiest regions of the universe, quantum fields exist everywhere. Invisible fields constantly fluctuate with tiny amounts of energy. In a sense, what we call empty space is actually a complex ocean of quantum activity. Now here's where things get strange. Physicists believe the universe may currently exist in a state called a false vacuum. Think of a ball resting in a shallow valley on a mountainside. The ball appears stable. It can remain there for millions or even billions of years. But it is not in the lowest possible position. Somewhere deeper down the mountain lies a lower valley. If the ball ever falls into that deeper valley, everything changes. According to certain theories, our universe may be similar. The vacuum state that currently governs reality might not be the ultimate lowest energy state. Instead, it could be a temporary state. A false vacuum. If that is true, then a transition to a lower energy state could theoretically occur. Scientists call this vacuum decay. And vacuum decay may represent one of the most extreme existential threats imaginable. If a vacuum decay event occurred, a bubble of true vacuum would suddenly form somewhere in the universe. Inside that bubble, the fundamental laws of physics could be completely different. The masses of particles might change. Atoms might become unstable. Chemistry might no longer function. Stars could not exist. Planets could not form. Life would become impossible. The bubble would expand outward at nearly the speed of light. Anything it touched would be instantly transformed. There would be no warning. No escape. No survival. Because the bubble would travel at the speed of light, nobody would see it coming. The information that it exists would arrive at exactly the same moment that it destroys everything. Fortunately, there is no evidence that such a bubble currently exists. However, some physicists have explored whether black holes could potentially increase the chances of vacuum decay. Black holes are already among the strangest objects in the universe. They contain immense amounts of mass compressed into tiny regions of space. Their gravity bends space and time to extreme levels. At their centers lies a mysterious singularity where our current understanding of physics breaks down. Near black holes, conditions become so extreme that ordinary rules may no longer fully apply. Some theoretical studies suggest that microscopic black holes could potentially act as catalysts for vacuum decay. The idea is that the intense curvature of space around a black hole might make it easier for a false vacuum to transition into a true vacuum state. Think of it like pushing that ball over the edge of the valley. Normally, the ball remains trapped. But under certain conditions, black holes might help provide the push. This possibility has generated significant interest among theoretical physicists. However, it is important to understand that this remains highly speculative. No evidence currently suggests that known black holes are triggering vacuum decay. And even if the mechanism is physically possible, the probability may be extraordinarily small. In fact, the universe has already existed for approximately 13.8 billion years. If vacuum decay were easy to trigger, reality might not have survived this long. Still, the idea raises fascinating questions. Could the universe be fundamentally unstable? Could reality itself be temporary? Could black holes play a role in the ultimate fate of existence? Black holes are not the only reason physicists consider vacuum decay possible. The concern also arises from studies of the Higgs field. The Higgs field is one of the most important fields in the universe. It gives mass to fundamental particles. Without it, matter as we know it could not exist. In 2012, scientists at the CERN discovered the Higgs boson, confirming a crucial part of modern physics. After the discovery, physicists began performing calculations involving the Higgs field and other fundamental particles. Some of these calculations produced surprising results. They suggested that our universe may sit near the boundary between stability and instability. In other words, the vacuum state of the universe might be stable. Or it might be metastable. A metastable universe can survive for incredibly long periods while still possessing the theoretical possibility of transitioning to a lower energy state. If true, vacuum decay remains possible. Not likely. Not imminent. But theoretically possible. Even so, there is no reason for panic. Current calculations suggest that if vacuum decay can occur, the expected timescale could be vastly longer than the age of the universe. We're talking about numbers so large that billions, trillions, and even quadrillions of years become insignificant by comparison. Other cosmic events would almost certainly occur first. Stars will burn out. Galaxies will evolve. Black holes themselves will eventually evaporate through Hawking radiation. The universe will undergo unimaginable changes long before vacuum decay becomes a practical concern. Yet the idea remains deeply fascinating, because it challenges one of our most basic assumptions. We assume the laws of physics are permanent. We assume reality is stable. We assume the universe will continue behaving tomorrow as it behaves today. Vacuum decay reminds us that these assumptions may not be guaranteed. At the deepest levels of reality, existence itself could depend on delicate balances hidden within quantum fields. Black holes make this possibility even more intriguing. They represent regions where gravity, quantum mechanics, and spacetime collide. They may hold clues to mysteries that physicists have struggled to solve for decades. Perhaps they are harmless spectators. Or perhaps they play a role in processes we do not yet fully understand. For now, nobody knows. What scientists do know is that black holes continue challenging our understanding of reality. They bend time, trap light, warp space, and may even offer hints about the ultimate fate of the universe itself. The universe often appears permanent and unchanging. But modern physics paints a very different picture. A picture in which reality may be far stranger, more fragile, and more mysterious than we ever imagined. And somewhere in the darkness of space, countless black holes silently wait, guarding secrets that could reshape everything we know about existence.